Hey guys, how we doing? Back with another video from Geekdom 101, Dragon Ball related, obviously. Got the hat. Every Dragon Ball movie villain's transformation explained. Again, I always say this, but some people may look at these videos and be like, not understanding that Geekdom doesn't just do the statistics and what the transformation does for the character. It's always like a outside input, why the transformations happened and certain things like that, which I always find interesting, or what they're based on and things like that. I always learn something really interesting from Geekdom's videos, and I love this, so really intrigued. Like the Dragon Ball movie transformations, I don't think he's going to go into Broly's, but my favourites, I suppose, it's been ages since I watched the movies. I don't think he's going to do Coolers either, but Janemba was class, because Janemba started off as that weird, like, big thing, and then ended up having that really cool slick design with the sword and that, anyway, enough of me. Let's see what Geekdom has to say on this, shall we?
So the original Dragon Ball series really didn't have a lot of transformations. In fact, it barely had any. The only ones that come to mind right now
obviously
are
Great
Goku
Ape
becoming a Great Ape, obviously, which I covered in the first edition of the Transformation Guide, and Man Wolf. Is that it? I don't count Piccolo getting younger as a transformation, even though I guess it could be considered one. I just don't consider it one. But when we got to Dragon Ball Z,
oh my God,
there was
there so
almost
many
overabundance of transformations, not just within the manga
like
and anime and all those stories.
Even
that
Garlic
I've already
Jr. in the movie.
But also with the Dragon Ball Z movies.
Oh,
and
Bojack, yeah.
almost every major Dragon Ball Z movie villain also has a transformation.
Yeah.
So on this special edition of the Transformation Guide, we're going to go through the Dragon Ball Z movies and discuss the exclusive movie transformations.
Class.
Cooler, Janemba,
oh, right.
even Garlic Jr.
Garlic Jr. Yeah.
will be talked about on this video.
Awesome. Transformation Guide. Starting me a little. No.
So when discussing the transformations of the various movie villains, let's start at the beginning and move forward.
Cool.
And the beginning was Dragon Ball Z, the movie, known outside of Japan as Dead Zone in the Western world, and Garlic Jr. Now, Garlic Jr. is the first Dragon Ball Z movie villain. Obviously, he was modeled and inspired by Pilaf, except Pilaf was never this strong, nor was he ever an immortal. And not only is Garlic able to transform, but so are his henchmen. Now, when his henchmen transform, they don't really seem that different. They're just larger, buffer, but their speed also goes up. Ginger, Nikki, and Sancho scream out a very unusual thing before they transform. Ginger screams out Shogayaki, Nikki screams out Nodoame, and Sancho screams out Unaju, which that translates to ginger fried pork, throat lozenges, and rice with eel on top.
That's amazing.
Classic humor.
Classic food humor, yeah.
Toriyama's love of food puns.
Brilliant.
And it's interesting because his lackeys from the Garlic Jr. saga also seem to get bigger, commonly known as the Spice Boys, which is a fan-made term, but it fits, I guess. So Garlic Jr., though, he starts off as a little munchkin guy who doesn't really seem to be too strong, even though he is able to pound the crap out of Kami, who, during this point of the series, was very powerful. He was very strong
compared to everyone else.
Speaking to other characters at the very beginning of DBZ, aka the end of Dragon Ball. So he looked impressive there, but when he transforms, he is so big that he's able to take on Goku
Piccolo's
and
just like,
what? Until they remove their weighted clothing and work together. And they were actually able to get the upper hand on him, but they could not kill him because he had wished for immortality earlier in the movie. So trap him in the Dead Zone. But I do believe that had he not wished for immortality, Goku and Piccolo together could have beaten him. However, he does create the Dead Zone, which leads to Gohan rising up, tapping into that secret power he has, and knocking Garlic into his own Dead Zone, putting him away for at least a few arcs until he came back in the TV anime filler. Now, when it comes to Dragon Ball Z movies 2, 3, and 4, those villains really don't transform at all. In fact, Dr. Weedo is inside of the wall with his true mecha body, and you don't see the true mecha body until later in the film, but it's not really a transformation because he always had that body. It was just hidden inside the walls of his chamber. So I don't think I count that as
not transformation. No.
Turles is a guy who really didn't transform.
No, he just grew stronger with the fruit.
He can become a great ape in some of the games, and obviously he has a talent. What?
You don't understand. You know what's Dragon Ball. Don't laugh.
and that's it. Like,
Walk
that's
in,
pretty much
laugh.
all he does. It's not really a transformation, though.
He ate the fruit from the tree, babe.
And seems to be a lot
He did!
faster and stronger. And then
Shut up!
It's pretty much the exact same thing as Demon King Piccolo. In fact, the movie
Yeah, he just gets younger.
is just like a really cheap reboot of the Piccolo arc. It really feels that way. It's the same exact story. At least when it comes to Slug, who's an old man, but he wishes to be young.
Youth,
Again, is that really a transformation?
No.
I don't know. He can also turn gigantic, which I guess could be a transformation.
Doesn't
but
count.
again, turning giant without an actual metamorphosis of your appearance to me is not a transformation. If it is to you, well, I've covered it here, but to me it's really not. But things get very interesting when we get to
Cooler movie.
Now, while we do have
Oh my
some
god, his
actual
transformation's so
tangible
freaking cool.
data on Cooler's transformations, it's still one of those things that has a lot of mystery behind it. So, when we first see Cooler in the movie, and throughout most of Dragon Ball Z Movie 5, he's in what resembles Frieza's fourth form, which is essentially what he himself even says, equal to that of Frieza, which is their base form,
and then he's like able to go
the Frieza Transformation Guide. And Cooler then states, well, I can go one step beyond. Now, to me, that's always been very strange, because when Toriyama first wrote the character of Frieza, there is no one step beyond the final form, except for when he got to 100% power, which
the movie.
is just him at
they don't
max
follow
power.
the
Cooler should theoretically not have another transformation, because his base form, his original birth form, is the one that he uses before he transforms. And that's always been weird to me, because if Frieza says that his other forms were created to contain his power,
canon storyline.
Further form?
They needed something awesome to happen in the movie to sell it.
Cooler trained so hard that he was able to discover this form. We did find out that Frieza never trained according to Resurrection Path, but Frieza instead found the golden form. Cooler found this form, and unfortunately there's just no real explanation as to why
doesn't need to be, it's movie only,
and not Frieza or anybody else. Now, in the Daizenshu
it looks amazing though.
Books, they refer to his final form as Cooler's final stage. Now, I'm a huge fan of this transformation.
It looks so good.
Because it looks
look at that. Look at that.
Pun intended. He gets
Shut up, it looks cool.
He gets these gigantic horns, and he has this like mask covering his face when he talks. And being a kid, before I got into Dragon Ball, I loved turtles. So me being a fan of Shredder,
yeah, man.
appealed to me. You know
Hell yes, I feel you there, bro.
In this final form that only he has. And of course, recently in
Heroes,
Heroes,
he's got the golden form in that form.
So
it looks cool.
is it the sixth form? I don't know, but
Heroes doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter.
It's just something that Cooler knows how to do.
Heroes is just fan service.
Dragon Ball Z Movie 6, when Cooler returned,
Meta Cooler.
Meta Cooler, but his form is not the fifth form or the final form.
Okay, yeah, I get what he's talking about. You know, it's confusing.
His fourth form, his regular form.
The one backwards, but shiny.
That's not even really Cooler. They're just clones. And the real Cooler is the one who's inhabiting the Big Getty Star. That's the true version of Cooler, who's pretty much this sort of mutated machine type thing. You know, some call him Cable Cooler, who's this big mutant, like Borg Star Trek looking thing. That movie,
it is very Borg Star Trek-esque.
By the way, like a lot of influence from Star Trek.
So
and
cool.
I guess the nanotechnology from the Big Getty Star is what was able to give him that power. But Goku and Vegeta together
they just blow him up.
to put an end to the Big Getty Star and to Cooler. The villain of Dragon Ball Z Movie 7 is androids 13,
oh yeah,
14,
and he actually transforms, doesn't he? He's an android that transforms.
Artificial humans that were created in the basement of the laboratory that battle Goku, Trunks, and Vegeta, the three Super Saiyans, as that movie is called in Japan.
Yeah, because doesn't he takes the chips from them, absorbs them, and then transforms into that blue form?
When 14 and 15 are defeated,
yeah, I'm remembering this stuff as we're watching it. I haven't seen these movies in years, babe.
Whatever you want to call it, I guess you can call it the processor, is telekinetically transferred into the brain of 13, and he transforms into
a bigger blue buff
13, who looks, strangely enough, sort of like a Saiyan.
Like a Saiyan, yeah, with a spiky hair.
Orange hair, you know, so if you ever wanted a Super Saiyan orange, this might be the closest we're going to get to it, unless Toriyama decides to actually give it to Goku, which I don't think he will, but either way,
Broly-esque.
13 is this giant hulking monster who barely even talks, he just screams, he's a rage beast.
Very Broly.
Similar to Broly, in fact.
There we go.
Daizenshu 6 refers to this transformation as Gatai Jusan Go, which stands for Integrated 13.
Bam.
So that's the actual name of that form. It's not Super Android 13, it's Integrated 13, but Super Android 13 works It's not a terrible name or anything, but he becomes very, very strong. And of course, this was done to sort of mimic Cell.
Yeah.
Cell had to absorb 17 and 18 to become perfect.
It seems like they gained inspiration from things going on within the TV series at the time.
14 to become perfect. So there you go. Now, when it comes to Broly, I
Oh
already
my
covered
God, yeah.
Broly in the Legendary Super Saiyan Transformation Guide. The only thing
Bio
that I did
Broly.
not cover is Bio Broly, but there's not much to say about Bio Broly.
That's terrible.
He's just a clone. In fact, the official name for this character is Bio Broly, according to Daizenshu 6, which is kind of using legendary form, but it's a clone, and there's not much more to it than that. Moving on to Dragon Ball Z Movie 9, we have Bojack, and he's not the only one who can transform in that movie. One of his henchmen, Gokua, is also able to transform. Now, Gokua in the English dub is referred to as Kogu, and I think they did that because they didn't want to call him Gokua because it sounds so much like Goku.
Yeah.
Now, he's the guy who fights Trunks, and he sort of powers up into a transformed state, which I think was the writer sort of giving us a preview of what Bojack would do later in the movie, like a teaser, so to speak, some foreshadowing there. Similar to when Zarbon
very Chrono Trigger-esque, isn't it?
warned Vegeta that Frieza can do it too. That was our first hint that Frieza could transform. Same thing here. It's interesting, though, because there's some weird animation mistakes or whatever where the hair keeps changing, but either way, that's his form. And then, of course, at the end of the film, we have Bojack powering up, and his powered-up form is just like Garlic Jr., really. He's just bigger and buffer and has no shirt on. And he transforms pretty quickly, but he is no match for the son of Goku, Gohan.
No.
Mutilates
he really does,
he had no chance.
molest the guy.
For those of you wondering, do Bojack's other minions transform? Unfortunately, we do not know. None of the guidebooks
never get a chance to. They just get annihilated. Bojack just starts going, "Yay, get in the way of this attack for me, please!" Haha.
So, like I've said before, the movie villains.
Oh, Janemba's transformation is so cool.
Whatever's going on. And that brings us to Janemba, who is very similar to Majin Buu.
Yeah.
In that his first form,
check this out, babe. It starts out looking like this dumb little thing. Huge thing.
Baby kind of demonic being like Fat Buu. And then when he gets serious, he becomes what is commonly referred to as
look how cool that is!
And he looks
and he has a sword.
Serious, more evil, and kind of reminds me of Super Buu. It's the same concept here, but Janemba's design is pretty damn awesome. Goku pummels the first form of Janemba,
just all over the place.
3, and then he reveals himself to be this scary-looking red and purple demonic being that can do all kinds of crazy stuff, including manipulation of matter and things of that nature, which is
try and hit me hard.
Before that, Janemba was the first one to really do it to that level. If you want to learn more about how terrifying Janemba is, I did a strong
just with the sword and the tail, it's so good.
Where we talk about his powers a bit more, but as far as his forms go, there isn't much else to say here. And we move on to the final Dragon Ball Z villain, Hildegarn. Now, Hildegarn is really just a giant, bug, except a mutant bug.
Yeah, but half of it was kept sealed within.
He basically starts out as being a form that is chopped in half, and we find out why and what happened, the backstory in the movie. And when he finally gets the full version of himself, he becomes very, very strong. Now, Hildegarn was the largest natural villain that Goku and the gang ever faced. I'm not talking about guys who can grow gigantic or even Aniraza.
But that's his size.
He was naturally a big, giant Godzilla kaiju monster they fought, which I guess was done because kaiju's so big in Japan that the people who made this movie just thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if Goku and the gang fought kaiju? Of them, So that would make sense to me if that was the story behind Hildegarn's creation. But he pretty much goes in and transforms into this giant,
when he just comes out like that.
Butterfly, except a butterfly from
Could
hell.
be a reference to Mothra.
Goes in there and forces him to go into this cocoon or this embryo or whatever you want to call it, larva form, and then he comes out with wings and he's big and he's just really hard to kill. Of course, he becomes a lot stronger. So strong that he's able to knock Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks
out of his transformation.
He sits there and says that Broly's the strongest movie villain. Maybe the new Broly, but old Broly probably had nothing on Hildegarn. Remember, this guy one-shotted SS3
Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks.
Don't forget that. He's
bam.
really powerful.
Knocks him out of the transformation.
Goku can't do it, nobody can. And Goku winds up beating Hildegarn with a move
Dragon
that he
Fist.
just invented out of thin air in one of the weirdest Deus Ex Machinas in Dragon Ball, but one that people love because
it's
they
amazing.
love the move. the Dragon Fist.
Yeah,
that will do
I remembered what it was
Dragon
called.
Ball Z movie villains breakdown for the transformations. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and coming up next, it's GT.
No!
We'll see you in the next
Why?
one.
I feel sick. Babe, I feel sick all of a sudden. I feel really ill. Oh, God. I'm coming down with a fever. Ah, God, so... No! I hate GT. But I'll probably check out stuff. Because, like I said, his videos tend to go into, like, reasonings and stuff, and... Yeah, that was an interesting video. That was really cool, because I forgot about some of the transformations that happened within some of the movies. Like, I forgot that Bojack's minion dude did it as well. I thought it was interesting that he never touched upon the fact that it was, like, very Chrono Trigger-esque as well, like, because I'm sure... Didn't Kirito have something to do with Chrono Trigger, or at least the designs with the characters in the game? Am I wrong? Oh, I feel like I'm being dumb now, babe. Pretty sure he had something to do with Chrono Trigger, but I might be wrong. But anyway, that was cool. Coolest transformation, awesome. I get where he's going, where it makes no sense how, like, it was, like, one step beyond, and then he gets Meta Cooler, and it's one step back, but shiny. And Janemba just is so freaking awesome, and I hope that in Super... Because everyone keeps talking about this now, because, like, they brought back Frieza, and they gave him a new transformation. It's like... And they brought back Broly, and they gave him new, like, design and transformations and stuff. It's like... People want Janemba or Cooler brought into it, and I think it'd be cool to see either of those people brought into it. I think Cooler would be easier to do, but Dragon Ball Heroes is being all weird and actually using him as a thing. Bring Janemba into it out as like an out of nowhere thing entity, and use the design, do something different with it, make it an interesting character, and yeah. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. What did you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below and let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys. Next time.